Good afternoon. This is an amazing afternoon for me to receive this honor from my friend, my dear friend, Valerie Ashby Shears. I am so honored to be with you today, and I want to wish greetings to our esteemed President Shears Ashby, our Provost Rouse, our student regent and valedictorian, and members of this distinguished academic community, and a big congratulations to the fabulous class of 2023. It's such an honor to be with you today, to be able to participate with you in this special moment as you take the first steps out into the world with your new degrees and begin your journey to the next stage of your life as engineers, scientists, and technologists. I have learned so much about UMBC during my own professional career, and I have always respected and admired its mission in providing outstanding and accessible STEM training to a diverse student population. It is both exciting and memorable that this is the first graduation presided over by the first woman and the first woman of color as president, Valerie Shears Ashby. I have learned so much from her, and I know you will too. And looking out at you and who you represent in this event, every race, every skin tone, every language, culture, and heritage, you truly reflect the diversity of backgrounds of our nation, and you represent the power that such diversity brings to addressing the world's problems. So a little bit about myself and my own journey and why this broad set of backgrounds is so important to me. I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan. I was born fortunate to have a mother and father who deeply valued education and were unique role models to me growing up. As for me, I have always been excited by science. The scientific world, what makes reactions happen? How do our bodies move? How does the natural world work? Can we understand it and can we model it? But it wasn't until I took a chemistry class in high school and got the chance to do actual experiments in a lab that I became totally committed. And it was the words of my high school chemistry teacher that encouraged me to look into becoming a chemical engineer. I ended up deciding on this path and ditching my plan to become a famous writer of children's science fiction. It led me to MIT to get my bachelor's degree. And when I arrived on campus, I was instantly happy to have found my people, my fellow technologists, all of us openly sharing our enthusiasm for science, math, engineering, speaking in complete and unreserved nerd speak. I was happy, but I was also scared. I was suddenly no longer top in the class. In fact, I had a lot of catching up to do. I was surrounded by brilliant people and suddenly feeling not so brilliant. My first exams were experiences in discovering the other side of the grading curve. And the courses were challenging in a manner that I just wasn't accustomed to. I had to openly admit to myself that I was challenged. There was a lot here for me to do, and frankly, I was not sure if and how I would make it. It is easy to give in to imposter syndrome, especially when things get tough. But I decided that by whatever providence or faith had brought me to this place, I was given this special opportunity, and I needed to seize it and use it to achieve my goals, my sense of purpose to ultimately make a difference for others. It is with this sense of self that I sought help from every source I could find, believe me, every source. I asked questions, I spent hours teaching and reteaching myself fundamental concepts, and instead of the old study methods, I tried new ones that would help me deal with this new material. I found friends to study with who served as incredible support systems. We worked collectively to hold each other up in spirit, to seek understanding in difficult problem sets, and share insights when the light bulb turned on for one of us. And slowly, it worked. I gained positive ground and was overjoyed to reach the point of gaining my bachelor's degree. This sense of self-purpose, of knowing your value to the world, is something that I want you to carry with you as you approach the world. It has been important to me at many points in my life. After working in industry as a process engineer for 2 years in Florida at Motorola, I moved to Atlanta to work as a research engineer at Georgia Tech Research Institute. And GTRI offered me the chance to pursue my master's while I was working there, so I went back to campus. And there, I fell in love with the idea of doing deep, far-sighted research. I've fallen in love with polymer science, designing these long chain molecules that have so many different properties if you just change one little thing about them. And when I saw a polymer science doctoral program had been launched at MIT, I took a leap and applied and ended up back at MIT for my Ph.D. 4 years after leaving it. By this time, I had married, and it turns out my son was born in the middle of grad school in my 3rd year with 2 years left to complete the degree. I was very intentional at that time about choosing my thesis advisor and committee members as future mentors for my career. I found that my Ph.D. advisor modeled how to balance the intensity of work while having a family. Another thesis committee member was very strategic. He often told me where I should be and what I should be doing if I wanted to pursue a career as a professor. He was also the most critical of my faculty members, always asking difficult scientific questions and pushing me to grow. My 3rd committee member was a real cheerleader for me and my work. When I later joined the faculty at MIT in chemical engineering, years later, I learned that he was the one who recommended to our department head that I be approached about applying to that position. Each of these mentors was very different, but each provided valuable support, and I learned the importance of having multiple people in my life who can support me. So I encourage you to reach out to others as you build your career. Build, renew, and constantly refresh your support team. All aspects of life benefit from the input of others. Sometimes they see things in you or in your situation that you cannot see. Mentors can play a large role in moving your career forward. Be sure to keep in touch and stay connected with those who show interest in your work and your talents. Remember them and connect with them. Be sure to maintain multiple kinds of mentorships and provide room for those who know you to support you in a manner that is consistent with who they are. Your peers are also a really important part of your support system, and the people sitting to your right and your left right now, in front and behind you, they may play important roles in your life later, so cherish them. Another lesson that I learned is to reach for opportunities. I launched my faculty career with a focus on designing polymer materials for a range of electrochemical energy applications, including unique ways to incorporate natural components like viruses for the generation of battery electrodes and solar devices. Working with good colleagues and collaborators, I was fortunate enough to have an early impact. And one of my most memorable moments is showing a virus-based self-assembled battery with my collaborator, Angie Belcher, to President Obama. I love and value, yeah, he's still my favorite. I love and value that early work, but I had always wanted to work on material systems that would impact human health. Although it was a risk to move into an entirely new area at a time when I had finally gotten well established in the first field, I decided to take a sabbatical and spend time learning about biology. And I had only had freshman biology at that time. Although it took a few years to convince others in the field of biomedical materials enough to get my NIH proposals funded, I found students and supportive faculty along the way and ultimately introduced the area of drug delivery to my lab. Over the past several years, we've developed methods to help regenerate new bone tissue around implants, enable diabetic wounds to close, and to lower scarring and burn tissue. The students in my lab have developed molecules that guide therapies into cartilage to heal joints and help with osteoarthritis. Among the things I'm most excited about is our work on cancer, and in particular ovarian cancer, one of the deadliest killers of women who suffer from cancer. It is the reason why we are working on these problems of true medical impact. The fact that I was able to take a risk years ago has led me to be able to have this impact now. So as you ponder your next steps, do not be afraid to think about what excites you, what ignites your passion, and where you want to have impact. Don't be afraid to expand your expertise or dive into new things, even if you only had one little class long ago to give you a hint of where you should go. And continue to do this now and later in your career. Finally, speaking of impact, here I want to share the most important message that I have for you today. Your perspective, your vision of what is possible, the kinds of problems you seek, and the approaches that you embrace, all of these things are unique to you. The world is full of problems, so many new ones that are unfolding right now and will have critical impact on our future. Science is a game that does not benefit from narrow solution sets, and difficult problems are best tackled when there are many minds at the table trying to solve them. Please remember that we need to hear your voice. No matter what area you end up working in, you bring a perspective that no one else can offer. Your presence in the field can make a difference in determining whether big issues such as climate change will be addressed in a manner that fairly and justly considers all people, that protects underrepresented people in a manner that is able to allow them resources. Your opinion and perspective can drive scientific approaches to better enable ethical practices of AI and computing, or find new spaces where such technologies will make a real difference to struggling communities around the world. Your eyes may see problems that others do not or cannot see, and your experiences may direct a different kind of approach to a problem that forms the ultimate solution. Your unique perspective or take on a problem will only be pursued by you, so build it, nurture it, extend it, and allow yourself to think big. As you engage the world, give yourself the belief and the voice that you need to ensure that your presence is felt. In turn, make note of your colleagues and neighbors and the value that they bring. As you begin to work with others, enforce an affirming culture in which all perspectives can be heard without constraint, remembering that different voices accelerate the progression of ideas. It is your generation that will permanently shift our science and technology culture to better enable engagement and inspiration from many people and cultures. Your participation will help address the difficult problems that we face in a fashion that is more equitable, more effective, and more expansive. The promise that you bring is in your very presence, your presence here today and in the future, and in your willingness to share it with the world. It is an honor to receive this degree along with you as you start your journeys. Thank you.